You're with CapeTalk.
This is Pippa Hudson on Lunch.
Today's edition of Wonder the World is for those of you who are fascinated by planes and all things to do with aviation and air forces. And I know you are many in number. We are traveling to a place you've probably driven past quite often, possibly wondered about, maybe looked at and thought, what's all that space there for? Why haven't they built houses on it? But maybe you've realized it's because there are some quite interesting aircraft coming into land and taking off occasionally. I'm talking about Ysterplaat Air Force Base in Brooklyn. And look, the base itself is not a tourist attraction, but what is of interest is the museum that is located there, the South African Air Force Museum. And it is a real treasure trove for anybody who is fascinated by aviation history, from vintage planes to stories of flight to really, the moments that helped shape South Africa's aviation story. And it's a pleasure to have with us in studio today somebody who is absolutely passionate about this subject, John Wilson from the Friends of the SAAF Museum at Ysterplaat. He's with us to tell us about the visitor experience there in general, but also we've timed it specifically to let you know about an event that is happening this coming Friday that is quite special. More on that later. Firstly, John, it's wonderful to have you with us. Welcome.
Thank you, Pippa. It's absolutely fantastic to be here. Thank you so much.
It's a huge pleasure to have you with us. Look, a lot of listeners today, myself included, will never have been onto the site. We will have driven past it and often wondered, but never actually set foot on the site. And I was kind of aware of the fact that there was a museum there, but I've never visited. Won't you just set the scene for us and tell us a little bit about the Air Force Museum and what it showcases?
Yeah, absolutely. The first time the museum was ever opened was 1987. Okay. It was very small, because obviously the aircraft that we have now were all in operation at the time. So the museum was very small, maybe one or two First World War planes which have all obviously passed on. And that was it. And slowly, and then the museum was more of just a hands-on working museum where they would restore aircraft. Okay. Then we move on now into the 90s, and then we started getting some planes that were being retired from the Air Force. And then we were very lucky to get some of them, aircraft and it's been built up over time. Then COVID hit, and that's all went dead. Yeah. And when COVID came back, I took over as chairman then, and I said, we've got to get this museum up and running properly. And we want to get the people out there, So we started advertising. So we did a lot of work to get the museum ready. And we said one Saturday, it was actually an Easter weekend, I think 2022. Myself and a gentleman by Dave Smith, we got together and said, let's get a few of us and open the museum on a Saturday. Went to the Air Force. They said initially no, because anything new, they just say no. Exactly. So anyway, I eventually got it right. Anyway, so there were five of us there, and a lady by the name of Cara, she looked after the merchandise stand. And we had 150 people come through the museum, literally from 0 to 5 to 10 to 150. And it's just grown. Heritage Day in 2024, we had 1,700 people at the museum. Totally out of our skins. We didn't know if we were coming or going, or Martha. It was chaos, but it was organized chaos. And we've learned now. And on average at the moment, that's a lot of people have been ready, so that some people come for a second or third time. But average anywhere between 200, 250 people every single Saturday.
Really?
Yeah, and we do a lot of advertising. We spend a bit of money on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. And that's it grows. And we bring people come in and we welcome them, and they get to see. We take them on tours to the hangars. We have two big hangars. We have 13 aircraft there, 4 helicopters and 9 planes. Lovely. The kids can get in some of the planes and aircraft, feel what it's like to be a pilot or just a crew member. And you see the people coming back from the tour who's got the biggest smiles. It's either the kids or the dads. You never know who's got the biggest smile. And that is how we've developed. And now we've grown. We got about 40 members and about 11 juniors in ages of 14 to 18. Hopefully they'll take over one day. And we're always looking for new juniors. Because we are going to, at some stage, we're all going to go into a better place, and then somebody else must take over from us.
And you want to leave behind a legacy that keeps us going. Yeah. Well, I just want to put this out there to the audience, who, if anybody listening has already been to visit the Air Force Museum and wants to just pop through a WhatsApp, voice note or text, tell us what you saw, tell us what excited you the most, what surprised you, what sort of gem you found there that had you really, really jumping out of your skin. Because I know Plain people are a special breed of people, John, and they get absolutely riveted and absolutely driven by passion for this. And if I hear what you're saying about the little kids who dream of being a pilot. For them, the opportunity to see an actual plane in an actual aircraft hangar is amazing. We'll talk in a minute about what they're going to see on Friday night, because that's going to knock their socks off.
Absolutely.
But I mean, tell us a little bit about some of the planes that you've got there and what makes them special.
Okay, well, I'm going to leave the special one up until the last.
Okay,
all right.
yeah.
So we have, obviously, we have the Harvard, which was one of the early SAAF, South African Air Force training planes. We got a Dakota 6832. That is actually called the Coelacanth Dakota. Now, if you remember Professor John Smith, he actually went and rescued the second Coelacanth fish ever caught in the Comores. And he brought it back. And that aircraft we have was that plane that took him there to the Comores. Like that. And then we have a Buccaneer S-55, which Mr. John Durant is our main guy. He spent the last 10 years restoring that into pristine condition. And then we have two Mirages. We have the Mirage 3, we had the Mirage F1, then we had the Mirage 3, and then we moved to the Cheetah. Now, we got the first two. Beautifully, Martin Strumpfer, one of our members as well, spent a lot of time the last 2 years restoring it. It's just been finished. And I promise you, if it had the authority, that thing would fly. Obviously, it doesn't. The only thing it's missing is the engine, which it was removed at some stage and taken somewhere else. Okay. Then we have the Super Freedom helicopter. Was one of the big transport helicopters in the Bush War. We have the now I forgot it now. The Sikorsky S-51, which is also a Royal Marine aircraft, very, very old chopper, helicopter. And then we have the Impala jet, was also a fighter jet and a training jet for the Silver Falcons. Sure. Based in Langbaanweg. And then we have the Sabre, which is also a jet, American jet, which was used in the Korean War and Vietnam. Yeah, so that there. And then we have the Vampire and the Ventura, which were basically, the Vampire was also a fighter jet. The Ventura was one of our coastal planes that guarded our coasts. Sure. The Dakota also did that, and then we moved on to the Albatross, but that was after the big special plane, which we'll see on Friday, which is the Shackleton. Avro Shackleton bomber, and that's what we will talk about just now.
We'll get to the Shackleton in just a second. Right.
So we got those aircraft and absolutely fantastic aircraft that we are so passionate about what we do. We go there every Saturday and we just love it. Absolutely love it.
I mean, John, the passion is pouring out of you from every pore. Where did it start for you? Are you one of those people who, since you were a little kid, looked to the skies and went, I want a piece of that?
What kid didn't?
Yeah.
Like that. And I couldn't wait to fly on the first aeroplane. But funny enough, I sort of took a different road and I was into my sport, into my cricket and rugby. So that took control, did tours and that. I was very fortunate to go to a nice private school. And then I was seconded to, obviously, national service, to the Army, actually here in Youngsfield.
The Army, not the Air Force?
No, the Army. Funny enough, I actually wanted to go to the Navy because I'm a sailor by heart.
Okay.
But anyway, I went there and spent 2 years there. And then, so in the next 5 years, I decided, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I ended up at Ysterplaat, and I spent 4 or 5 years there. And I wasn't a pilot, I was still in the Army thing, but all I did was controlled movements, people wanting to go here, go there. I had to see what planes were coming in, and then I would organize with movement, and then say, right, and then go, and then send the planes on their way every day. And I absolutely loved it.
And the bug bit, and you've never gotten over the illness.
Absolutely. Okay. I mean, now any plane in the sky, we all look up, we go into flight radar and our apps. And we're all looking, then we're all discussing what plane that is and this and that, so.
And hey, did you see that one landed there where it wasn't meant to and what was on board? We've got a lot of people keeping an eye on the skies. Just for anybody coming into this conversation midway, my guest in studio, John Wilson of the Friends of the SAAF Museum at Ysterplaat. And before we talk about the big event this Friday, Keith asking, is this the only Air Force museum in South Africa?
No. We have 3. Actually, the main ones, SWAT Corp, which is now the mobile wing deployment thing, which is just in Pretoria. That is the main one. And then we actually, Ysterplaat and PE are basically sub museums to Swartkrop, but we run on our own completely. We have a national NEC committee, which we all meet up once a year for the 3 museums.
Okay.
And then, but that's it. Yeah. So we on our own. We do our own thing. P does their own thing, and so does Swartkrop as well.
And you've mentioned several individuals who have worked on individual planes.
Yeah.
Is that at their own cost, or is it just their own time?
No.
How does it work?
Okay, so we obviously, being a national defence force place, we cannot ask for fees. We just ask for donations. We solicit donations. So every donation that we receive goes straight back into the museum, into restoration, improving the museum materials, buying products. And lately, I tell you, we spend quite a bit of money because we are moving. We've got more people to work in the planes and moving quite faster. So every week, I get a list and I've got to go and buy stuff. And I'll take it the next Saturday. And then they spend 5 hours working there, and then we move on. So.
And what's involved in a restoration? Is it a lickety spit and polish, or is there more to it than that?
Listen, you look at a plane that's just come in, it's been around for a long time, it's rusting, it's corrosion, it's terrible. Then you start at the bottom and get rid of all the corrosion. And that, can take up to, because we only work Saturdays, can take up to a year. And then you start priming it. Then you're going through all the different things, and you have to remove parts. Then you have to do. Then you get once you've done. Then you've done all the painting, which we spray. All our members, they are top class in what they do. We all got daytime jobs, and we all go there on a Saturday. And then they start. And then we have another gentleman, John Durant. He does model building. He does all the decals and all the details, the stickers, the letters, the steps, don't stand there or whatever like that. And he puts them all together in the plane, and then that's how we do it. It takes a long time, but it's such a rewarding thing after.
So the visitor experience is as if it was brand new, just rolled off the line. They're going to see it as it was when it took to the skies in working condition. Cedric just messaging us to say, I worked at Atlas Aircraft Corporation as an aircraft electrician, worked on the Mirage Mk3 in the 1980s. I visited the Ysterplaat Museum last year. It is well worth a visit. Cedric, thank you for that, and that's professional endorsement, if you like, from somebody who really knows the industry and knows good from bad, if I can put it that way. Now, okay, so you've mentioned no entry fees as such, but obviously if you've enjoyed the experience, please consider making a donation. Yeah. And the fact that you have a Friends of the Museum, where do you how does that work? Are you only there on weekends? What happens in the rest of the week?
We have... So basically, we're the volunteer group. We have a Facebook group, Friends of the SAAF Museum, Ysterplaat. You must put Ysterplaat in, otherwise you might go to another group. And we have a WhatsApp group. We chat all the time. So, right, this we need, that we need. And I have a few who's actually our chairman at the moment, because you have 3-4 years, then you got to pass it on to somebody else. Right. That's the way our constitution works. So I'm just the acting vice chairman at the moment, and Norman Larson is our chairman. And we have another gentleman named Eugene Richardson, and then Martin Forster, then sometimes, and Janice, his partner Janice. They go in during the week, and they do stock counts and like that, and they go in, fix things. If we need an aircraft, needs something to be moved or whatever, then we can ask for the help of the Airforce to move the planes or whatever, because we can't do that ourselves. We don't have the authority.
You're on a working airbase.
Absolutely.
Important to emphasize that.
Yes, absolutely. You're going on to restricted area. We all got to have cards and everything, so you can't just pitch up there. You can go to the main museum, but then you won't be able to go to the main hangars during the week, because public aren't allowed there during the week. Okay,
so if somebody wants the full experience, including the hangar tour, they've got to come to the Friends on a Saturday.
And you know that saying, the first impression is the lasting impression? We have the biggest smiles when we show them where to park and that, open their doors for them, and I tell you what, then they smile. And it's just absolutely, the comments we get and the responses that are just phenomenal, and we are so blessed that people actually take their time to come out and see us and actually can see what we do.
Gordon asking, is the Mirage F1 on display not the one which Major Rankin shot down a MiG during the Bush War?
Actually, it is. It is. It's not his plane. In fact, no, I beg your pardon. It actually is his plane, but he didn't fly it last. But it was his plane that shot down the one MiG. Yes, that's
sure.
right.
Okay,
that's right. It's a Mirage Number call sign 213.
Okay.
213. Yeah.
Now, we've avoided talking about the main quinane, if I can put it that way, because something very special is happening this Friday evening with your Shackleton. Firstly, for those like me who don't understand the context, what is special about a Shackleton?
Okay. That is, the Shackleton was built in 1953, 1954. For the purpose for being like the Lancaster bomber in the Royal Air Force, a bombing plane.
Okay.
We purchased 8 of them. They got 4 engines, contra-rotating propellers, big plane. But actually, once you get inside, you won't believe how small it is inside. But it's a huge plane, and that was bought for the purpose for protecting our coastlines in the Second World War, and a bit further and a bit later, watching Russian submarines, German submarines coming around the coast, and then we would obviously through Silvermine then tell America or the UK, the Royal Air Force, and say, listen, there are people, submarines. That was purely, I think, to patrol, safety, security, a rescue, and that sort of stuff. So it was never ever used as a physical bombing aircraft.
Okay, so although that was what it was built for purpose,
correct.
For our purposes, it was coastal patrols.
Patrol
okay.
and rescue.
Now, what are you doing on Friday?
Okay, so
let
me just quickly first just say to you, there are 2 left in the world.
Oh, God.
One in South Africa, one in the UK, that the engines actually work. One in the UK, one in the museum set, but they only run it maybe once or twice a year at the most through fuel constraints. We are very, very blessed that we have some wonderful donors, and we run it every second month. Okay. And normally it's on a Saturday morning at about 10 o'clock, 10:30. We get to all the people, and lately we've been getting 700, 800, 900 people come through, and we start up the engines, rev them up, you name it, boy. I still get goosebumps after 1,000 times hearing that thing. I still get goosebumps. Right, so this Friday, it's taken 3 years in the making for me to get right. We're going to do a night ground run this Friday. So as it gets dark, and now you're going to see the strobe lights working, the nav lights, the landing lights, and the heat plumes from the exhaust from the engines, which is purple. Now, this is the first one that I've ever known of, but subsequently somebody said to me there was one in 2009, but there might have been 20 people when it wasn't public. So this is a milestone for us. And I'd say 3 years in making, and they gave me permission about 2 months ago to go ahead with it, which is, it just blew my mind. I said, we are going to make this an incredible event. And it's not just about the ground run. It's a whole evening affair. You know, like that, and it's come for supper, come have something to drink, and cold drinks, chips, kids can do whatever they want, play on guns, and you know, like that. So it's really is going to be fantastic.
Okay, so the idea is you come, you see the plane, engine started on the ground, you're not taking it into the air, but on the ground you will see it with its engines running
and in the dark.
In the dark with all of the lights and that go with that. Yeah. Plus have the experience of the rest of the museum in a very sort of tactile form.
Absolutely. It's come for supper. We have incredible hamburgers, boerewors rolls, coolings, you name it. And all the lights are going to be lit up like a plane going to be lit up, and we're going to have a DJ going and music. And so it's going to be an absolute awesome evening.
Okay,
really.
So if you yourself are somebody who is crazy about planes, but more importantly, I'm thinking of those kids, if you've got the little boy or girl in the household who is mad about them, who loves building the models, who is fascinated. It always amazes me, John, how little kids who claim they can't manage their schoolwork can know the model numbers and who the rev capacity and whatever the functions of an airplane might be for 30 different planes, and hold all of that information in their head because they're interested in it. Those kids obviously are going to just be in awe of what's happening on Friday. So tell us what we need to know. If you want to come to this event, do you need to book? Do you simply show up? How does it work?
We put it all over Facebook and Instagram. Just be there by 6 o'clock. It's going to take a while to get 1,500 people through the gates. Okay. Just arrive there at 6 o'clock. You'll be welcomed by parking attendants. They'll show you where to park, where the entrance is. You'll come into the main entrance, be welcomed, sign in. You obviously have to sign in, just rules of the Air Force. Sign in there, and then they can go to the tables and say, would you like to give us a donation? We have a donation box, and they can put 5 Rand in, 10 Rand, 20 Rand. And we got card machines as well. So you come there, and then now they're going to have a look around the museum. They're going to enjoy the museum. We got main hall, we got LARPers, we got tunnels. We've got tunnels. It's actually one of the tunnels which came from the Ndangwa Airforce Base in Namibia. And then at a certain time, depending on light, obviously it's all going to work on time. Then I would say about 7:20, we're going to then take a walk. We have a safety brief and everything because we are going on to a restricted area. We'll go walk. We'll go to the hangars for a little bit. And as soon as I see it's dark enough, then we'll walk, which is just 2 minutes, 3 minutes down to the hard stand where the Shackleton is. And there'll be silence. And then they'll do their thing.
And then it'll roar.
And for 20 minutes later... for 20 minutes, and then afterwards we all go straight back to the main museum.
Okay, so 6 o'clock Friday evening at the Ysterplaat Air Force Base. For more information, do look for the Friends of the SAAF Ysterplaat. Very important to write in the Ysterplaat. Look for them on social media for more details. But John, I hope you're going to get people coming by the hundreds to be part of this exciting event. Well done for getting it right to make it possible. And thank you so much for joining us in studio to flag it for our audience today.
Thank you, Pippa, for putting it out into the airwaves. And I know it's going to be a massive success, and I will definitely let you know how it went afterwards.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
It's a huge pleasure. John Wilson of the Friends of the SAAF Museum at Ysterplaat. It's happening this Friday evening at 6 o'clock.